both students and faculty who are supporting this process. I really appreciate it. It is the last stretch of SCE presentations. We had a little break, and now we have 2 more days of them, and after that, everyone will be done, and that is so exciting because I feel like it's like a bridge that the seniors cross as they move toward graduation, so it's a very exciting time. I want to remind you, if you're in the room, to use technology responsibly during the presentations, and that we encourage you to participate in the question and answer session at the end, as this is what really allows the student to show the breadth and depth of their research. I have a few announcements to make, and I'm going to make them before every round of presentations. These are mostly for the seniors who are in the class. First of all, the reflection piece, where you reflect on your work in the course, is now open. It was closed for a while, and I realized that, and I fixed it, so it's open. So if you've done your presentation, please complete that reflection now. It's due by midnight on Sunday. Also, keep the reviews coming. You guys are doing a good job on the reviews. Do remember that they don't have to be long, but they do have to be specific, and that you need to do 2 of them. So most people who've gone have started that process. Make sure you finish it. School is canceled on Monday, and that was the day that final drafts were due by 2:45. So I want to let you guys know that I'm moving the due date back to Friday at the end of the day, but I understand that for some of you that's not possible because you can plan to do revision over the weekend. If that is the case, you may email me a copy of your revised draft with your name deleted from the heading and the header by 7:30 on Monday morning, okay? Remember to attach it as a Word file. If you don't attach it as a Word file, my computer cannot open it, and then you will not have an essay to take forward to the library scoring, okay, which would be problematic. So please remember to attach it as a Word file. The high quality videos that have been recorded to facilitate in the revision process, there's been a bit of a delay in uploading them, but several of them have been uploaded to the school website. And the way you find them is that you go into the streaming link that's already posted, and if it's highlighted in yellow, it means that instead of the poor audio copy that we get from the stream, you can have the high quality video that Mark has made, okay? So make sure you get on there and look for those. And then lastly, someone started a rumor when I was out that I had Zika, but I don't have Zika. I have SEICA. And so if you've given me a portfolio to grade last week and mark last week, it's here on the side. Please make sure you pick that up and encourage the people who have that work there to pick it up, because it's very important for that final draft. Okay, any questions about that? Okay. With that all said, I'm going to give the floor to Alberto Dennis, who's here to present.
Good morning. My name is Alberto Davis, and my presentation on the predictive value of the SAT is titled Diamonds in the Rough, Addressing the Flaws in the Predictive Value of the SAT. Do you believe that the SAT offers an accurate prediction of future success? Many claim that the Scholastic Assessment Test run by the College Board reveals skills that students need to succeed, such as hard work and dedication. Many colleges use these test scores for their admissions process, and some use it more heavily than others. Unfortunately, the ideal test that they envision has not been achieved yet. In my own experience, I remember studying intensively for the SAT, working on Saturdays with a tutoring group, and taking a number of practice tests. And yet, I was not able to increase my score significantly. All of a sudden, the SAT became an obstacle in my way towards my college application. There are numerous flaws currently harming students through the SAT. The SAT is not accurately predictive enough to serve as a beneficial tool in the college admissions process. The high-stakes nature of the test places unhealthy pressures on schools and students. The SAT is also wrongfully used as a measure for students' aptitude, which is too diverse to enclose in one generic test. To address these issues, the College Board should reframe the SAT as a series of optional achievement tests that would highlight students' unique types of skills and talents. By doing so, the SAT would allow colleges to admit diverse individuals according to the communities that they are trying to build, and could predict, based on their talents, what types of success that they are likely to have. Additionally, by releasing free study resources specific to the proposed SAT, the new test would reduce the pressures associated with the current high-stakes test. Following these steps will make the SAT a reliable predictor to be used in company with other predictive tools. There are different types of standardized tests. According to an article on the Complete Test Preparation website, an aptitude test is meant to measure overall performance over a broad area of mental capabilities, while an achievement test scores the level of knowledge that students have in a specific subject or area. Using this distinction, I believe that in its current iteration, the SAT is not accurate enough or reliable to determine student aptitude or potential success. Samantha Lindsay shares this view in her blog for the Prep Scholar. Test scores can't always predict your ultimate level of education, she states, which is a much better indicator of future success and earning potential. Because students have the capacity to accumulate vast amounts of knowledge over time, test scores cannot predict students' educational potential. It is inaccurate to use these test scores to predict future success, since schools would ignore the various set of skills and talents a student may possess that are not measured within the current test parameters. What does research suggest about the SAT's actual predictive value? In John Allen Paulus's article, Do SAT Scores Really Predict Success?, we see that most studies find the correlation between SAT scores and first-year college grades is not overwhelming, and that only 10% to 20% of the variation in first-year GPA is explained by the SAT scores. Also, William C. Hiss's investigation on standardized testing policies reveals that there is a negligible difference between the graduation rates of students who choose to submit their SAT and those who do not. This research suggests that currently the SAT does not provide as much predictive information as it could. Its potential is being hindered by the traditional concept that the SAT must measure students' aptitude to predict potential success. Hiss claims that he would never say the SAT and ACTs have no predictive value for anybody. They have predictive value for some people. We just don't find them reliable across populations. This suggests that a change in the test structure may solve the issue. In other words, the SAT is used to predict whether or not students will be successful in college, but the evidence cited above suggests that it has a limited capacity to do so. Previous historic events have created a culture of fear for standardized tests that is associated to the pressures of the SAT. An article on the procon.org notes that there was a growing pressure from the US government to improve test scores, which was manifested in the passing of the No Child Left Behind Act, or NCLB, an act that created impractical expectations for schools' test improvements. The NCLB deemed that schools did not show sufficient adequate yearly progress, they faced sanctions and the possibility of being closed or taken over by the state. NCLB required that 100% of US students be proficient on state reading and math test scores by 2014, which was regarded as an impossible target by many testing opponents. This act clearly placed huge stress on schools' improvement, paving the way for the SAT's high-stakes nature and the subsequent culture of fear. The inflated importance of SAT scores in the college admissions process forces secondary schools to base their curriculums on test preparation, which creates huge expenses. Quinn Mulholland's article, The Case Against Standardized Testing, suggests that the money spent on test preparation is not actually improving scores. He cites an investigation by Politico, a journalism company, that found that there is little proof its products and services are effective. In the same article, Mulholland points out a study by the Brookings Institution conducted in 2012, concluding that states spend $1.7 billion on testing per year on testing, an enormous increase over the $423 million that states spent in 2001 before the NCLB. Increased spending on testing augments the perceived importance of the SAT, allowing this trend to continue. In this way, the high-stakes nature of the test forces schools to overspend on test preparation that is not helping students. As if this weren't enough, the SAT's high-stakes nature creates new insecurities for students through driving school curriculum that is test-focused. One student wrote, "I feel like we have to take all these tests, and if I pass the test, I live. If I don't, I die." This hints at the unhealthy impacts test-centered culture has on students, suggesting that the SAT's high-stakes nature diminishes the quality of education by placing unhealthy pressures on students and schools. A 2006 study by the Center of Education Policy found that since the NCOB was passed, 71% of school districts cut back on subjects like history and music so they could spend more time on tested subjects. Not only is the current test consuming taxpayers' money, but its insensitive nature is also inhibiting the progress of students who should be discovering their passions and talents that make them unique and which will ultimately help them succeed. Clearly, the SAT is being held down by certain factors. Primarily, the present culture of fear born from the high-stakes approach of the NCOB and the low predictive value of the test are keeping it from aiding students. So what needs to change? Simply eliminating the test would hinder colleges' ability to accurately select students for their schools. It would also diminish the predictive value of the GPA and other resources. Without the SAT, colleges would undoubtedly place more emphasis on high school grades and extracurricular activities, measures that also have serious shortcomings. Grade inflation and meaningless difficulty being the main ones, shares John and little follows. The SAT may be flawed, but its potential uses are still too great to ignore. I believe that to truly help colleges and students, the College Board and ETS should restructure the SAT, delivering it as a series of achievement tests rather than one aptitude test. This way, students can demonstrate their various skills and talents, providing more accurate data for comparison and allowing colleges to use both GPA and SAT as predictors. The SAT should reflect students' talents and skills. So as Samantha Lindsay states, to succeed long-term, you'll have to possess other qualities that are valuable in the job world outside of the narrow set of skills that are tested. Restructuring the SAT, so the one that I propose, will create an additional benefit for colleges. The new SAT would improve the admissions process by presenting students in a way that reflects their unique, diverse intelligences. Colleges could then focus on admitting individuals that fit the community they're trying to create. Jill Teifel, former provost and professor at Wake University and current president of Colorado College, shares her insights on the benefit of having a more student-focused admissions process. The process should invest in the time to consider students across a broad range of criteria: personal interviews, reflective essays, letters of recommendation, and a thorough examination of high school curriculum and grades. These reveal more about intellectual activity and curiosity than the score on a test administered one Saturday morning. Titan College suggests that colleges could use a more in-depth admissions process to determine more accurately which applicants might thrive. By making the SAT achievement-based, the test can work in conjunction with the other tools listed by Titan College. In his article, James Poffin adds, there's an enormous amount of knowledge and or skills that children at any grade level are likely to know. Dividing the SAT into a series of tests will benefit students by focusing on what they do know rather than what they have not yet learned. The College Board has already begun to make its newest study resources free and accessible, a welcome modification to the test prep culture of the SAT. In his article for the BC World, Zach Miners informs his readers of the new partnership between Khan Academy and the College Board. In his article, he quotes Saul Khan, founder of Khan Academy. For the first time ever, all students who want to go to college can prepare for the SAT at their own pace, at absolutely no cost. This new study resource is meant to provide further aid to students. However, test preparation materials are geared towards the current SAT. By reverting back to teaching a variety of subjects, students will be capable of expanding their knowledge. Furthermore, this will help them prepare for the new and specific exam. For a long time, the SAT has been hindered by a combination of its high-stakes nature and its low predictive value. My research has traced these flaws back to the culture of fear surrounding the SAT and proves that the test's predictive accuracy can and must improve. It has also revealed that the best solution is to rebuild the test. The test is meant as a tool to aid both students seeking higher education and colleges searching for unique individuals. But in its current form, the SAT is not serving its function. By shifting the SAT into an achievement test and making study resources free, we can ensure that the test allows students to demonstrate the unique qualities and their true colors of colleges, revealing not students who have polished their test-taking strategies, but who are diamonds in the rough. Thank you. I have no more questions. Amina.
Okay, I don't know if you saw in Raul's presentation, he also did about the SAT, but we mentioned as one of his solutions to just like not use the SAT, and he mentioned like, I don't remember the exact university, but that they had a different way for applying. They gave them a different prompts, and they had to write 4 essays, and that was all they had to do. Do you think this would be better than the SAT, or like, if you still prefer the SAT?
Okay, good question. I think Raul's solution, it isn't bad, and I think it would work. I just think this one would be better because using the SAT as an additional tool gives colleges a broader range of information on students. And the problem is that colleges right now don't find it predictive. That is why part of my solution is to make the SAT more predictive by restructuring it and then using that new SAT to give a broader insight on the student.
You know that the SAT this year is kind of new for, like, you know the difference between like the old and the new?
Yeah.
And if so, is this change como better for like improving the like?
Which change? You mean the change now?
That
is better?
now.
Well, that question I would answer in 2 parts. Yes, the SAT has changed now in spring of 2016, and it's changed because now it's meant to be more student-friendly because there's an optional essay and you're not penalized for answering wrong questions. However, I don't think it would be as better as this solution, not necessarily because it wouldn't work or it wouldn't make it better, but because, let's see. Well, first of all, because the predictions, there haven't been any predictions coming in yet. The SAT is too new right now, and they've only released some cases of scores, and we can't predict whether or not those students will actually be successful in college, and if the SAT is actually as predicted as it should be.
And I think that this wasn't like the improvement you're trying to make because the questions are still the same. Like the SAT, they just made the essay optional and they stopped reducing points for wrong answers, but I think they didn't change the structure of the test. So it wasn't the same intention as what.
So it would work the same way that the subject tests work, like math ones.
It would be similar to that. The purpose, what I meant to do was that because the subject tests are they're specific to areas and they simulate AP tests. They're not actually as in-depth as I pictured them. That is why I didn't say that we should just eliminate the SAT 1, which is the normal one, and just replace it with the SAT 2. I think I didn't use that because I believe it needs to be more in-depth in order to make students shine in the areas that they want to shine.
So, very good job.
Thank you.
What are some of those areas that you're talking about, right? Like we've already, SATs right now, science, math,
And right,
and writing. So what other areas are you proposing that could be tested?
No science.
There's no science.
It's writing
oh yes, yeah,
Okay,
it's,
so it's
math,
just like
writing,
there's math, basically.
mhm.
So what other areas are you seeing?
Well, I think it should include basically, obviously the 4 curriculum courses, the 5 curriculum courses, and like those we see in most high schools. But I also think it should include electives, for example, music or theater. And I'm not saying that I have a structure for how those would look. I'm saying that that's something that the college should invest in the time. Because a lot of times success does not have to do with how well you can do math, but how well you can do the things you love. And those things are what you're going to be studying and learning to do well in colleges. But to answer your question more thoroughly, it could be music, anything that ranges from the fine arts to math, sciences, that range to engineering in college. And Mr. Roosevelt.
Bertha, you pointed out some of the concerns around the SAT. You are soon to graduate, hopefully.
Yeah, yes,
Soon to graduate
hopefully.
from Carroll Morgan, which has two requirements around the SAT. It requires that you sit the SAT as an exam, and it also has a course designed to help you do well on it. And I'm wondering if through your research you thought about, how this would impact and what kind of recommendations you could make to the school that you are going to be an alumni of regarding their involvement with SAT and the test.
Okay. Well, I believe that I would suggest if this would be implemented, that because the SAT is optional, and it's not necessarily something that students might want to use to express or to show colleges what they are best at, then it should be optional. And I believe that that's going to make it better, because then the students who take SAT prep classes won't feel like it's a necessity or something that they need as a credit, and usually won't take more seriously. This would mean that by doing it, by making it optional, those who do sign up for it are people or students who talk to their parents and say, I want to sign up for this class because I want to do well on my SATs, and they'll give in all the time. And I would love to follow up on that by calling someone like Mr. Albert, who's worked with SAT prep courses here at school, and ask him if he feels that his students are involved now, and he feels that this would help them feel more involved. And
As of now, would you eliminate SAT prep courses in CMS?
as of now, you mean with the current test?
Yeah. No offense, Mr. Alton, but I think I would. I just want to see your.
You think I wouldn't? You'd
Uh,
be the first one.
Well,
I just want to see your perspective.
that's a good question. I know initially, before this research, I would have said, yes, you should eliminate it, because for me, what I had learned from the SAT, I learned from other test prep things that I've gone through that, and from family members that had already taken the test. However, there are people that don't have that. And even though some people feel that the test prep here in school might be minimal, at least it's something. And I remember, one thing that I still remember now from when I took the class is that when you have 5 questions, if you can eliminate 3 and don't know the answer, 2 and don't know the answer, guess. If you can eliminate more than 2, don't guess. And honestly, that might not be something that you feel that is great, that you should learn in a class, that looks minimal. But it's something that is going to help even that's going to help even the minority of people. So yes, I think it should still be, as of now, part of the school curriculum.
What's so fascinating you're saying that, because you're nowhere in your adult life where you're ever going to take a multiple choice test. And so that skill of elimination, what a waste of time. And I think you made a good point between the No Child Left Behind. When I took the ACT 15 years ago, there was no test prep, because it's supposed to be an aptitude test. You should just go in and show what you know. But now, like you said, there's a whole culture built around preparing for it. There's no classes. Has the test changed in 15 years, or has just do schools put more emphasis on it now?
Yeah, I think with the No Child Left Behind, the point of that was to put more emphasis on standardized testing. And before, it was actually called the Scholastic Aptitude Test. And they were aptitude tests, but now they renamed it to assessment. So it's kind of like they're in a gray area. I still think they're an aptitude test, because you're supposed to come in and show what you know based on the curriculum that you have in your school. But that still is based on what you know about math, because curriculums here in this high school aren't the same as curriculums in high schools all over the US. So yeah, I think that the test prep culture has grown a lot since the SAT has been created, and I don't think it should be eliminated because it's an aptitude test. I just think it needs to be restructured along with the new SAT. It's good.
So one of the reasons that colleges like to view the SAT scores is to sort of level the playing field, so they can measure a student in China against a student in the DR, for example. So how would your model address that, since, maybe a student would be presenting in music or showing skills in a different area. How would you address that then to sort of level playing field as a student?
I think the leveling of the playing field would be more of a comparison, because I feel when colleges do try to level the playing field, they're looking at a number and not a person. So when they look at this SAT score, even if you don't mean to, when you see a higher SAT score than someone else, you feel like, well, not to be general, but I think it's easier to feel that that student is either more prepared for college or that they were more prepared during the exam. However, what I'm proposing is that because it's more specific, then you're showing your knowledge in a subject area. And when you're applying to something in college that you know you want to pursue, then there they can see, okay, we know this student wants to be an engineer and he's doing well in his math classes, he's doing well in his math SAT score. And so we can compare his strengths against the strength of someone else, not necessarily generalize the student and then compare them. Are there any more questions? Yeah, Mr. Wilson.
Why not just use AP scores? I mean, there's a wide range of AP courses, even down to music and art. Would that be a comparable and better way to manage the whole system?
I think it could be, but I believe it's better to have more than one standardized test. And the AP is, as you said, it's subject focused, but having an SAT that mimics the AP, because as you said, there are some similarities, you would have a broader range from where to take from. Because if you see that someone didn't do well on their AP, but then you see that they have a great score on their SAT language arts test, then you can say, you can either talk to them or you can know maybe he had a bad day, because we all have those. We all have our bad days where we bomb an exam and we didn't need to, and we know that didn't show our potential. So I think replacing is not the answer, it's adding more options for students.
I think there's always some schools that don't have AP, like they're in the IB system where they just don't have it. So maybe having the SAT, but it would like include all the schools that have different programs.
Yes.
I just want to ask one last question, and that is, this came up a little bit in the question Ms. Kelty was asking about like the test prep culture that's risen around it. Also, the SAT has changed forms 3 times in the last 10 years. So there is a movement afoot. People are starting to talk about the ways in which perhaps the interests of students are not being placed centrally in this decision making. Perhaps it's more and more about profit on the part of the AP or the college board. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that, having done the research. In your presentation, you spoke as if you do believe that they're trying their best to create a test that meets the needs of students. Do you think that that is a sincere intention, or do you think that the changes going on have to do with the generation of profit?
I think it is sincere, because I believe that these are people that are working in a company, and even though it's like a business for students, but these are people that might have their own families and that they've already gone through it. They don't want to make it so that other students or other generations have to suffer trying to take these tests. I think it's sincere, but I also think the fact that it's a business can limit how much they can improve the test. Because one thing is that we make an ideal test, and let's say the one I'm suggesting, and the other thing is that, okay, maybe that might not be as profitable as the business wants it to be. And in the end, it always ends up being a decision of business. So, I mean, that's an issue, that's a whole other debate, whether it should be completely business run or how we can track whether or not they're satisfying the needs of students. But I believe it is sincere at its core, but it has its problems because it is a business.
So you do think market forces are in play?
Yeah.
Okay.